Habitat of the living. Introduction. Living things live everywhere on this earth. They live deep inside the oceans as well as on high mountains. Plants and animals living in different places are different from each other. Our environment is made up of living and non-living components called biotic and abiotic components. Components of an environment. The physical and the biological world where living organisms live is called our environment. It consists of two main components. Biotic component. It constitutes the living part of the environment consisting of plants and animals. Abiotic component. It constitutes non-living things like soil, water, and air on the surface of the earth. The climatic factors like sunlight, temperature, rainfall, humidity, and wind, etc. are also part of abiotic components. Abiotic factors like air, water, light, and heat are important for the growth of plants and all living organisms. Interaction between biotic and abiotic components. In any habitat, all living forms interact with each other and with their surroundings. This interaction of biotic and abiotic components is also called interdependence. The existence of plants, animals, and microorganisms is influenced by light, temperature, moisture, air, water, and soil in different ways. You can notice this interdependence in these ways. All living organisms depend on non-living components of the environment. Animals depend on plants for food, shelter, and protection. Human beings need both plants and animals for food, shelter, and clothing. Microorganisms depend on dead and decaying matter. They decompose the dead bodies into simple organic minerals, which return to the soil. Plants obtain these minerals from the soil. Thus, plants, animals, and microorganisms are inseparably dependent on each other and on the abiotic components of the environment. Living organisms need to interact and depend on each other as well as the biotic world for their survival. The earth experiences a variety of climatic conditions which make it suitable for survival of different species. The kind of organisms living in a given region will depend on the conditions prevailing there. The biodiversity of a region on the earth depends upon the heat, temperature, rainfall, and humidity in it. The world has been grouped into different biomes. A biome is a vast region of Earth's surface with a particular climate, according to which plants and animals are found in it. It includes habitats of various types of organisms dwelling in it. There are 5 biomes, namely aquatic, forest, desert, grassland, and tundra. Adaptations. Only those organisms survive that have the characteristics that help them to cope with a particular environment. Those which cannot adapt are eliminated. The development of characteristics which helps an organism to survive in a particular environment is known as adaptation. The degree of adaptation differs in different groups of plants and animals. Some are being more closely adapted and others are being more generalized. For example, honeybees remain closely adapted to their particular mode of life. They have many adaptive features like tubular mouthparts for sucking nectar, hair and brushes for gathering pollens, wax glands for production of wax. In addition to this, they have a division of labor in their colony. Man, on the other hand, shows generalized adaptations as he is capable of adjusting to diverse habitats. Habitat. A place where an organism lives in nature is the natural dwelling area of an organism called the habitat. There are 2 major types of habitats. Terrestrial habitat. This includes habitat of all living organisms which live and propagate on land. Some examples of terrestrial habitat are forests, grasslands, deserts, coastal and mountain regions. Aquatic habitat. It includes habitat of all organisms that live and propagate in water. Ponds, swamps, lakes, rivers and oceans are some examples of aquatic habitats. Terrestrial habitat and adaptations. Desert habitat. Deserts are areas which receive very little rainfall. Deserts are very hot and dry. Camels, cactus, date palm trees, rattlesnakes are examples of organisms found in desert. Plant life. Most plants have long roots that penetrate deep inside the soil in search of water. Many plants, such as cacti, have fleshy stem to store water. They are called succulent plants. The stem is also covered with a thick waxy layer that helps them to retain water. High temperature causes great water loss from leaves. To prevent this, leaves are reduced to spines. Desert plants lose very little water through transpiration. The leaves in desert plants are either absent, very small, or they are present in the shape of spines. This helps in reducing loss of water from the leaves through transpiration. Animal life. Many desert animals and insects survive the heat of the day by staying in burrows deep inside the sand during the day. A camel has several adaptations to help it survive in a desert. It has a hump where fat is stored. This provides food in times of storage. It can drink a very large quantity of water and then stay without water for a long time. It excretes very little water in the form of urine. Its dung is dry and it does not sweat. It has padded feet which allows swift movement in sand. Mountains habitat. Mountains are the region that rise much higher than the land surrounding them. These habitats are cold and windy, and snowfall occurs in higher regions. Animal life. These habitats are normally very cold and windy. Goat, sheep, and yak are the animals found in mountain regions. Animals living in mountain region are adapted to the conditions there. They have thick skin or fur to protect them from cold. For example, yak has long hair to keep warm. Snow leopard has thick fur on its feet and toes. This protects its feet from cold when it walks on the snow. The mountain goats have strong hooves for running up the rocky slopes of the mountains. The penguins in Antarctica have a layer of oily waterproof feathers and a thick layer of fat under the skin that regulates the body temperature. Penguins have a habit of staying together in groups to keep themselves warm. Plant life. The trees growing in mountains are cone-shaped with sloping branches. Many of them, like pines, have sharp needle-like leaves. It helps the snow to slide off easily. If this did not happen, the branches would break because of the weight of the accumulated snow on them. Grasslands habitat. Grasslands habitats are windy and dry, where grasses are the main plants. They provide home and food to both herbivores and carnivores. Zebras, deer, and elephants are some of the herbivores living in grasslands, whereas lions, tigers, and hyenas are the carnivores found there. Plant life. Some adaptations in grasses to survive in these conditions are flexible stalks so that they can stand and do not break in windy conditions. Strong roots to anchor grass. Small leaves to reduce loss of water. Trees growing in grasslands like acacia are also small with small leaves and roots that go deep into the soil in search of water. Animal life. Lions live in forests and grasslands and are strong animals that can hunt and kill animals like deer. They are light brown in color and are not clearly visible to their prey when hiding in dry grasslands. The way in which features of an animal body, like its color or shape, matches its surroundings, so that it is difficult to be seen, is called camouflage. They have strong claws that can be withdrawn inside their toes. This helps them creep up to their prey without making a sound. They have eyes in front of their faces. This helps them to have a correct idea about the location of their prey. Deer also live in grasslands. They eat grass and leaves and have to protect themselves from predators like lion. They have these adaptations. They have strong flat hind teeth for chewing plants. They have long ears to hear any movement of predators. They have eyes on the sides of the head. It enables them to look in all directions for danger. They have strong legs and can run very fast. These adaptations can also be seen in other grassland animals like zebras and bisons. Aquatic habitat and adaptations refers to lakes, rivers, ponds and streams. Examples of animals living in these habitats are the various types of fish, water bugs, and water lilies. Some of these plants have their roots fixed in the soil below the water. Roots are much reduced in size and their function is fixation and not absorption. The stem of these plants are long, hollow, and light. The stem grows up to the surface of water while the leaves and flowers float on the surface of water. Some aquatic plants are totally submerged in water. All parts of such plants grow underwater. Some of these plants have narrow and ribbon-like leaves. These can bend in the flowing water. In some plants, leaves are often highly divided, through which water can easily flow without damaging them. Marine habitat refers to saltwater habitats in sea and ocean. The organisms living in marine habitats are known as marine organisms. Many sea animals have streamlined bodies to help them move easily in water. There are some sea animals like squids and octopus which do not have streamlined shape. They stay deep in the ocean, near the seabed, and catch any prey that moves towards them. These animals have gills to help them use oxygen dissolved in water. There are some sea animals like dolphins and whales that do not have gills. They breathe in air through nostrils or blowholes that are located on the upper parts of their head. This bears evolutionary significance. Coastal habitat refers to the regions where the sea meets land. There are a variety of coastal habitats that support different types of living organisms. Estuaries are coastal regions where a river or stream containing fresh water meets the salty water of the sea. These unique habitats are supported by organisms like crabs, oysters, seaweeds, and mangroves. Amphibious habitat and adaptations. The animals which can live both on land as well as water are called amphibious animals. Common amphibious animals are frogs, toads, and salamanders. They have these adaptations. Their eyes are covered with nictitating membranes for safety. Skin of these animals is moist and slimy, which helps in respiration. They can also respire through lungs. The hind legs are strong and long, which help in hopping movements on the land. They have webbed feet for swimming. Aerial habitat and adaptations. Animals which are adapted for the aerial mode of life are known as aerial animals. These animals spend a greater part of their lives in air. Common animals are bat and birds. They have these adaptations. They have streamlined body which is covered with feathers. Their forelimbs are modified into wings. The bones are light, hollow, and spongy and contain many air cavities. The nervous system and sense organs are well developed. The flight muscles are well developed and their eyesight is very sharp.